When rival generals transform a country of 46 million people into an arena for their personal war, as two have in Sudan, civilians pay a heavy toll. Khartoum, the capital, has been devastated by the war that broke out on April 15. Battles have spread across the city, with fighters firing from rooftops and torching buildings as warplanes pass overhead. Electricity is spotty, food is in drastically short supply, and there are reports of rape, looting and robberies. The other focus of conflict is to the west in Darfur, a region already racked by 2 decades of sometimes genocidal violence. Civilians have been slaughtered, 8 camps burned, and refugees who fled previous violence are crossing the border into Chad, vowing never to go home again. The civilian death toll from the fighting had surpassed 10,400 by early November, with many more injured, according to the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project, though Sudanese health workers believe the actual toll is probably much higher. The descent into chaos has dashed hopes that Sudan, Africa's third largest country, will be able to usher in civilian rule anytime soon. Here is a look at what is happening in Sudan. What is the state of the fighting? The army, which has access to planes, dominates much of the country, including Port Sudan. But the Rapid Support Forces have been fighting to take control of the capital, Khartoum, along with the adjoining cities of Omdurman and Bari. The paramilitary group has also solidified its control over the Darfur region, running over army bases in both West Darfur and South Darfur states by early November, and massing troops to take over El Fasher, the capital of North Darfur. In July, a mass grave was uncovered with the bodies of at least 87 people killed in El Geneina, a city in West Darfur, according to the UN. In September, the UN said it had received credible reports of at least 13 other mass graves. Multiple ceasefires negotiated by Saudi Arabia and the United States in Jeddah, and agreed to by both warring parties, have been violated. Pleas for the combatants to allow humanitarian aid to reach devastated communities have so far been largely unsuccessful. In late October, both parties participated in new ceasefire talks in Jeddah, brokered by Saudi Arabia, the United States and the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, a regional bloc that has 8 member states including Sudan. While the two sides made commitments to assist with the movement of humanitarian aid, the talks fell short of achieving a ceasefire. The army chief, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, has been Sudan's de facto leader since 2019. He rose to power in the tumultuous aftermath of the uprising against President Omar Hassan al-Bashir, Sudan's leader of 3 decades, who was ousted in April 2019 following a wave of popular protest. Before that, General al-Burhan had been a regional army commander in Darfur, where 300,000 people were killed and millions of others displaced in fighting from 2003 to 2008, which drew worldwide condemnation for its human rights violations and humanitarian toll. After civilians and the military signed a power-sharing agreement in 2019, General al-Burhan became the chairman of the Sovereignty Council, a body created to oversee the country's transition to democratic rule. But as the date for the handover of control to civilians approached in late 2021, he proved reluctant to relinquish power. General al-Burhan's main rival is Lieutenant Gen. Mohammed Hamdan, who leads the country's Rapid Support Forces, a powerful paramilitary group. Of humble origins, General Hamdan, widely known as Hemati, rose to prominence as a commander of the notorious Janjaweed militias, which were responsible for the worst atrocities of the conflict in Darfur. In October 2021, General al-Burhan and General Hamdan united to seize power in a military coup, making them effectively the leader and deputy leader of Sudan. But they soon fell out. Many diplomats, including those from the United States, attempted to negotiate an agreement between the two generals that would see them hand power back to civilians. But they could not agree on how quickly the Rapid Support Forces would be absorbed into the army. In April, after months of rising tensions, their troops went to war against each other. Why are many other countries invested in the conflict? Sudan occupies a pivotal position on the African continent. It has a substantial coastline on the Red Sea, one of the world's busiest shipping routes. It shares borders with 7 countries: the Central African Republic, Chad, Egypt, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Libya and South Sudan. Already, the violence has spread deep into Darfur, home to several rebel groups that could get sucked into the fight, and a base for Wagner, the private Russian military company. Wagner has advised the Sudanese government and received access to lucrative gold mining operations. Russia has sought to allow its warships to dock on Sudan's Red Sea coastline. The United Arab Emirates has also been secretly supplying arms and providing medical treatment to the paramilitary forces through an air base in neighboring Chad, according to officials from the United States, Europe and several African countries. The Emiratis have said that their operation is purely humanitarian.
As you leave the page, kindly hit the like bell and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so as yet. Thank you.